the pain like.
Hey guys, jaehyun here and welcome back to my channel, and I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. In today's video, we are going to be discussing 24 things in K-pop that were not on my 2024 bingo card, aka things I was not expecting to see happen. Before we get started, I just wanted to put a quick reminder out there that I currently have 4 polls running in which you can decide the top K-pop songs of 2024 across 4 different categories: boy groups, girl groups, male solos, and female solos. All you need to do is vote for the songs you were loving the most this year, and the top 100 of each will be featured in a results video in the new year. I will link these polls in the pinned comment down below, and they're also in my community tab too. Okay, sorry, without further ado, and in no particular order, let's get started. 1. Blackpink's Rosé releases a surprise collaboration, Aperture, with Bruno Mars, and it becomes one of the biggest songs of the year. I, of course, am a Blackpink fan and have been following each of the girls' solo careers, but one thing I definitely did not expect to see happen was Rosé and Bruno Mars to suddenly start interacting with each other on social media, joking about releasing a song, which they sure enough did a few days later. It's such a fun song, and I'm glad it's been doing so well globally. 2. Zerobaseone's Matthew goes viral on TikTok for mooing like a cow. If you follow me on Twitter, then you will know how obsessed I am with this video. For those who haven't seen it, Matthew of Zerobaseone recently did a challenge on TikTok where you basically have to speak in a higher pitch to make this animated cow like skinnier so it can pass through the fences. Matthew's specific version of this to date has like 40 million views, and nobody, not even his own group members, will ever let him live it down. It is incredible, and if you haven't seen it, please go and check it out when you're done here, because it just gets me every time. 3. Hybe's market research report document dragging other artists gets leaked. This one's a biggie, but definitely not something I was expecting. It's not strange to imagine that K-pop companies are frequently checking out their competition. It makes sense to do this within a lot of industries to ensure you don't get left behind. However, the Hybe document that we seemed to receive was hundreds of pages long, many of which were just criticisms of so many other artists. This was a weird insight into the inner workings of a K-pop company, but more so how some of them perceive each other. 4. riize's Seunghan returns to the group only to leave again within a week. Not even a week, like a few days. Yeah, this one's just crazy. So as many of us know, riize member Seunghan was on hiatus for quite some time due to some controversies that had been going on surrounding his personal life. So I think it came as quite a surprise to a lot of us when SM Entertainment announced he would be returning to the group. But of course, a very pleasant surprise. Unfortunately, not all netizens seemed to agree, and then SM Entertainment announced literally just days later that he would not be returning to the group at all. This sort of thing rarely happens in K-pop, with a member returning only to leave again, and it was definitely a whirlwind of a week. 5. The South Korean public impeached their president using K-pop songs as their power anthems, leading people to try and cancel the idols, helping show support. I don't want to get too political with this explanation, but as I'm sure many of us will have read in the news, earlier this month, South Korea's president Yoon Suk-yeol tried to enforce an emergency martial law, which led to an absolute public outcry for his impeachment. To provide them with the strength during this time, thousands of protesters lined the streets in Korea, singing songs such as Girls' Generation's Into the New World and G-Dragon's Crooked. These songs became like anthems for their fights. So much so that some angry members of the Korean public who did not agree with the impeachment were trying to cancel artists such as Girls' Generation's Yuri for cheering on protesters, and IU, who was providing snacks and hot packs for those out in the cold. 6. Actors Reynolds and Hugh Jackman make a cameo in Stray Kids' Chick Chick Boom music video. Many of us might have seen Stray Kids member Bang Chan interacting with Reynolds on social media in the past, but one thing I definitely didn't see coming was Reynolds and Hugh Jackman making a cameo in a Stray Kids music video. I mean, it makes perfect sense timing-wise and from a marketing perspective, because Stray Kids' comeback was around the same time the most recent Deadpool movie was due to be released, but still, this whole thing was very cool. 7. EXO Suho visits Antarctica for the variety show Chef of Antarctica. Suho has been commended in the past for doing things that are a little bit outside of the box and visiting places that other K-pop idols might not have done, and I believe he may be the first idol I've heard of going all the way to Antarctica. I believe the journey to Antarctica took days to complete, and the aim of the show was to create some nice warm meals for locals, alongside chef and CEO of the Born Korea, Baek Jong-won. Prior to their journey, Suho and the rest of the team had to complete complete preparations such as polo safety training, Antarctic specialty protected area education, and land safety training. They put a lot of work and love into this project, and I'm excited to see the outcome. 8. That ex-NCT member leaving the group due to criminal investigations. I don't want to go too much into detail about this one because I do not think he deserves to even be a thought in our minds, and I want to keep this video more light and fun, but I did still feel the need to include this one because none of us can deny that this was a major shock to all of us. A few months back, SM Entertainment suddenly announced that NCT's Taeil would be leaving the group due to allegations of his involvement in a crime of sexual nature. Unfortunately, this entire situation is disgusting, and I really hope the victim gets the justice she deserves. Moving on, because that's as much as we're going to speak about that person. 9. 17 becomes the first ever K-pop group to perform at Glastonbury Festival in the UK. I know a few K-pop groups have now graced the Coachella and Lollapalooza stages, but nobody had yet performed at Glastonbury, which is the biggest festival in the UK by far, until this year. The 17 did an absolutely incredible set at Glastonbury and owned that stage. I watched the live stream and was so incredibly proud of them because this was a major deal. I think it was also Jonghan's last stage before enlistment, which made it all even more special. 10. The sserafim and RuPaul's Drag Race viral crossover, which came thanks to Chaewon's Bob. Okay, I'll explain this one. So this year, sserafim performed at the 2024 MTV Video Music Awards pre-show, and a few drag queens from RuPaul's Drag Race, Plasma, A Mandatory Meeting, and Dawn were watching and reacting to it. When they saw the sserafim members passing by, they got excited when they saw Chaewon and her hair saying this conceit bob, which is basically kind of a compliment to express how iconic they thought it was. As a drag fan myself, this was not a crossover I was expecting, but what made it even more funnier was sserafim hearing about this and Hyunjin having to explain to Chaewon what that meant. 11. i-dle renew their contracts with their label Cube. See, the funny thing is, a group renewing their contracts and confirming they will not be disbanding is an exciting thing usually, and of course on this occasion the same still applies here. We're all very happy to see i-dle remaining as a full group, but the reason this has made it onto this list is because I think a lot of us were genuinely expecting the girls to look elsewhere for their management and not renew their contracts with Cube Entertainment, especially because they had not so low-key expressed their distaste for the company on multiple occasions. I think I would have loved to have been in that contract review meeting to see what they offered the girls to get them to stay, because I hope they are getting the money they deserve. 12. Pow release a reinterpretation of Avril Lavigne's song Girlfriend, which the original songwriters helped them create, including Avril herself. This sort of thing is just not on my bingo card perfection, because literally who would have thought of this or seen it coming? This is the sort of thing that you literally just cannot write, but it's so cool that it actually happened. Pow's version of the song is called Boyfriend and has a lot of similarities to the original, especially in the hook, but the rest of the song has a K-pop interpretation. Avril Lavigne and K-pop is a crossover I did not know I needed, but it makes my 2000s heart happy. 13. gfriend confirms plans to reunite for their 10th anniversary in 2025. I knew the girls' anniversary was coming up, but after the way things left off with them disbanding so suddenly, I really was not expecting much to happen for their 10th anniversary, especially now they're all busy doing other things. However, the girls surprised us and proved how strong their bond still is by confirming that there will be a project in January 2025 to celebrate their 10th anniversary. Just a couple of weeks ago, we got a teaser of the girls' reunion when the whole group came together to perform their most iconic songs on Killing Voice. Again, something I did not expect to see in 2024. 14. The whole newjeans and minho versus hybe battle, leading to newjeans terminating their contract with label Ador. I mean, I probably could have started with this one because we all knew it would make it onto the list. I don't think any of us predicted that any of this would happen this year. It might be one of my biggest surprises. We may have known that minho's relationship with hybe was never going to be the strongest, but the girls seem to be doing really well and just getting more and more successful with each comeback. But after minho's resignation and the girls now wishing to do the same, their future is currently still unknown because, as we speak, the potential legal dispute that now follows is only just beginning. 15. 21 re-signs with YG Entertainment and holds a tour for their anniversary. To be honest, I should have expected 21 to reunite to celebrate their anniversary with Blackjacks, but one thing I definitely did not see coming was the group re-signing with their original label YG Entertainment. When I first saw this specific poster, I'll put it on screen, from YG saying like, "Welcome back 21, I actually thought it was a joke or fan edited or something. And as a fan whose entry into K-pop was 21, back in the early days, this gives me like so much nostalgia. 16. The whole BTS Suga scooter DUI incident. I say this one with like a huge sigh because I do have to include it as something none of us expected to see happen this year, but as a Yoongi stan, this gives me like war flashbacks from when the news first started unfolding that Suga had been involved in a drink driving incident, and we had no idea how serious it was yet from the limited information we had. Of course, drink driving is a major issue and something I do not condone because it sounded like it could have been a serious incident. Fortunately, it wasn't, and it turns out the media has exaggerated the story initially, and I hope Suga has learned from this mistake because he had a lucky escape this time. It could have been more dangerous in other circumstances, but thankfully it wasn't on this occasion. But it is something I would personally rather not relive, and I'm sure a lot of fans feel the same. 17. NCT's Jaehyun enlists into his military service early. Okay, I don't think any of us saw this one coming either. In September of this year, Jaehyun announced that he would be the next NCT member after Taeyong to begin his mandatory military service. But the reason why this one came as such a shock to a lot of us is because idols usually tend to enlist more towards their 29th, 30th birthday, and Jaehyun is only a 97 liner. A lot of fans thought Do-young would be the next to enlist because his birthday is 1996, with Jaehyun following later. I'm not too sure of the reason why he chose to enlist earlier, but because he's already gone, I'm trying to get into the mindset of the sooner he goes, the sooner he returns. 18. IU brings her tour to Europe and the USA. I know IU is a huge name in the K-pop market, not just in Asia, but around the world. But I don't know why, I did not expect to see her touring over here in my ends, especially not in Europe. I think it's because I'd seen in the past that the demand for IU concerts is usually so high in places like Korea and Japan that she'd simply never have time to make it over here. This came as such a surprise to me for some reason, but of course a very good one. I'm so happy that a lot of fans who thought they'd never get to see her got the opportunity to do so, and it was so exciting to see someone of her caliber touring Europe. 19. Ex-IZ*ONE member Hitomi rejoins the K-pop industry as a member of new girl group Say My Name. I'm sure a lot of us have been following each IZ*ONE member's careers post the group's disbandment. Hitomi had previously been a member of the Japanese girl group AKB48 before her time in IZ*ONE, so of course a love for music has always been with her. But since IZ*ONE's disbandment and announcing her graduation from AKB48 in 2023, she seemed to have been mainly focusing on her acting career moving forward, doing a few TV shows in 2023 and 2024. So imagine my shock this year when it was announced that she would not just be returning to music, but actually returning to the K-pop industry as the leader of new girl group Say My Name. It's exciting that she's chosen to return to K-pop for her next steps, and let's hope she gets the success that she deserves. 20. The remaining Big Bang members, G-Dragon, Taeyang, and Daesung reunite to perform at the 2024 Mama Awards. I believe it has been 9 years since the last time Big Bang performed at the Mama Awards, and because the group isn't necessarily active anymore and the members are now focusing on their own things, I don't think any of us expected to see them reunite this year, and especially not with a stage at the Mama Awards. But it was so cool to see current idols of the 4th and 5th gen, who would have looked up to groups like Big Bang, now getting to watch them perform live at the same shows they're attending, and being utterly starstruck, dancing along to the iconic choreographies, and just getting to genuinely have a good time. That's what the Mama Awards used to be about back in the day, and Big Bang's return gave us that little reminder of how fun it used to be. 21. SHINee's Minho reveals that the Idol Star Olympic Championships was actually his idea. Okay, I had to include this one because if you didn't see this, I need to tell everybody. Do you remember the Idol Star Olympic Championships, or the ISACs, where K-pop groups would compete in teams in different sports, kind of like an Olympics for idols? It used to be a much bigger thing when I first got into K-pop. It is still a thing now, but not as much. Or did you know that the whole thing was actually SHINee's Minho's idea? This blew my mind. Minho recently revealed that he once jokingly said something like, wouldn't it be really fun if companies held a sports competition together? And with just that one comment, ISAC came to life. Apparently after Minho's random thinking out loud comment, their managers and the producers started to discuss it seriously, but as something for just SM entertainment artists. But it quickly expanded into this big thing across multiple companies. What makes this even funnier is that Minho always seemed to excel at the ISACs because he's just pretty much amazing at every sport. So it just feels correct in my brain that not only was he amazing in the Idol Star Olympics, it was literally his idea to do them. It just makes perfect sense. 22. Stray Kids' Hyunjin gets a buzz cut. I know an idol getting a haircut does not feel like a big enough deal to make it into a not on my bingo card style video, but I feel like those who get why I've chosen to include this one will get it. When you picture Hyunjin in your head, it's likely you may picture him with the iconic long hair that he's had for a while now. It's kind of like his staple because he pulls it off so well and it looks great on him, but he recently shocked fans by appearing at the 2024 SBS Gayo Daejeon red carpet sporting a new blonde buzz cut. None of us saw this coming and I refuse to accept that you did. But what's even more iconic is that fans think he pulls this one off so well too, so who knows, maybe we'll see him starting a new trend of idols wanting to try the Hyunjin buzz cut. Stay tuned for 2025. 23. Ex-EXO member Luhan plays EXO songs in a live stream and reunites with ex-EXO member Tao, also in a live stream. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I worded that badly for sure. And I know neither of them are K-pop idols anymore, but I did have to include this one just for my EXO-L heart. It is very rare that we see interactions between X group members. EXO is no exception to this. So I was surprised to see Luhan listening to old EXO songs in his live stream recently and being like openly nostalgic for that good old EXO music. And then he and fellow X group member Tao also doing a live stream together with Tao's wife in the background, expressing how they're still friends was just the icing on the cake for me. And I'm so glad to see that they're both happy and seemingly doing well during their time now outside of the group, but I must admit it did make my little EXO-L heart happy to see the X group members together again. 24, and last but not least, Block B reuniting for Zico's show The Seasons, artists with Zico, and teasing a comeback. This is a personal one again, but I had to include it because it's something that I did not see coming. I have been a Block B fan for pretty much the entire time I've been into K-pop, and I've been missing them so much in recent years, while they completed their military service and did some solo activities. So when the season finale came for Zico's time as the host of The Seasons, where he had different guests star, oh my god, it like made my month to see that the whole group would be guest starring alongside Zico in a Block B special. The group performed some of their most iconic songs like They've Never Been Gone, and even teased the idea of an actual comeback in 2025. Zico is of course super busy with his solo activities and his group Boy Next Door, and of course running a whole company. But if this is something that happens, it will make my year. Okay guys, and that was it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching if you got this far. I know it's more of a simple video, but I find these so fun to make. If you enjoyed this one, please give it a thumbs up. And these are just the things that shocked me this year. I'm sure there's so many other things that happened this year that I've missed. So please share with me in the comments some things that happened this year that were not on your 2024 bingo card. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to be the first to hear whenever I upload. And don't forget to keep voting for your top K-pop songs of 2024. The polls will be in the pinned comment below. I'll see you next time. Bye guys!